My name is Jarkko Leppälä from Natural Resource Institute Finland, called shortly as Luke. And I'm also cognitive practice work package leader in the project SafeHabitus, which organized this seminar. Thank also to my colleague Tiina Mattila and Tiina Tapiola, who have planned the program today. I worked in agriculture safety management and risk management research now about 20 years. And before that, I was milking cows about 10 years, and now I'm raising a few chickens, and that's my background for this chapter. Want to say something about our topic today about the views in agriculture safety management, in which many of our studies concerning occupational injury accidents and health problems, especially in animal farming. Cows, cattle, and horses have been the main occupational injury and health disease factors in agriculture ever since humans started agriculture and animal husbandry. Maybe somebody could assume we have learned something about safety on animal hunting in these 9,000 years. Maybe I have always said that good research takes some time. But after the animals as injury factor in agriculture, there are machinery injuries in Finland and also sleeping accidents on ice, of course. Anyway, I want to make a point that we have found also some very positive signals in agriculture safety lately in injury statistics from Finland, how technology development and robots on dairy farms have decreased, for example, cow kicking human accidents. Secondly, farm safety and health management point, if we talk about safety culture and safety management, we many times talk about language of human management of safety, like they do in other industries. But how do you manage a group of cattle in a safe manner? Why that old cow doesn't understand my orders when I tell her, please go to the parlor for milking, and it just stares there and like, no, I don't. Anyway, my claim is that animal handling challenge in safety management is one of the reasons why the safety culture on farms has its special type of safety management, noticing animal, weather, and other things which cause sudden safety risks, especially the farm work. And some of them are very hard to control, I would say. The third current challenge is the increase in stress among farmers, which many times means that behind everything, you worry about things. You worry about your health of your family members, worry about your farm, and worry about money and livelihood if people don't want to eat meat or drink milk anymore. Many times farmers also worry and feel sorry that old cow and her health. There are farmers who care more on that old cow than their own health. Can you please show the microphone, please? Few words about the project SafeHabitus. It's a multi-actor project that aims strengthening farm health and safety knowledge innovation. As a multi-actor research and communication project, we have formulated community of practice networks in 11 countries across Europe, which bring together farmers, farmer organizations, research and education, and other farm-related stakeholders, including policy actors. I'd like to conclude that the farmers' poor safety and health or too much stress are huge risk also to the farm animal welfare and animals themselves. About the program today, we have an animal welfare specialist, Dr. Satu Raussi, going to be a webinar moderator today. Then we have a scene setting presentation, Why Good Animal Handling Matters, tells about animal and human welfare factors to improve safety in animal handling. And that's presented by Dr. Jarkko Niemi from Luke also. Good practices are practices that have proven somehow successful, and there we have a couple examples by Dr. Arita Hoksajaiha from Finland and Sebastian Dietmar from Germany. After this, we have a short comment speech from Estonia, Eda Merisalu, professor there, and then a discussion part, and after that, closing remarks by our SafeHabitus project leader, Dr. David Meredith. In the end of my speech, I want to stress in these times that the real knowledge, together with research, and practice. It's spread out by education and reliable independent communication channels, like this scientific webinar. They're very important today, and not just to farm safety, but the whole food sector and for the future of those young people who consider to be a farmer. Okay, I wish you all an interesting and excellent webinar, and I encourage everyone, be brave and ask questions, give comments, share your knowledge, because this is the reason we have this project and webinar. Now I want to give you up the floor or the monitor, the chairman today, Dr. Satu Raussi. So please, Satu, the monitor is yours.
Hello everyone. No need to say much. I'm Satu Raussi from the Finnish Center for Animal Welfare. I've been running the Finnish Center for Animal Welfare for 15 years now, together with my colleague Tiina Kauppinen. And now we are kind of look at network, at least half independent network. But anyway, well, 20 years ago, I defended my thesis, and it included human-cattle interactions. So that's what we talk today also. We will hear interesting speeches. So let's start with Jarkko Niemi, my colleague from Luke. And Jarkko is a research professor. And please, Jarkko, the floor is yours. I will take care of the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Okay, I guess you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can see very well.
Yeah. So I will say a few words about why good animal handling is important and how it is related to different topics. So as you know, animal production involves some risks. There are lots of different risks that might realize in animal production. I have listed some of those that are relevant for this topic, and especially like for handling of animals. So there's always a risk of physical injury for the humans, and this is mainly because animals are living beings and they can be unpredictable. So they can also behave unpredictably, or they can be, for instance, become stressed in certain situations. Then there's also a risk of disease for humans and for animals. And then there are also some risks related to animal welfare that are especially related to how animals are being handled. And then in relation to animal welfare, there's also an aspect that how consumers perceive animal production and products. So there are lots of studies which have been looking at how consumers and citizens feel about animal production and animal welfare, and they actually appreciate naturalness and humane treatment of animals. And this is actually part of the handling of animals as well, so it's related. So in general, good animal handling practices can also help to ensure farm safety and especially farmer safety and farm worker safety. And what is actually needed to handle animals well is that you need to have an understanding how animals respond and how they understand their environment. So animals may behave according to certain patterns in specific situations or specific environments. For instance, if they are alone or if they are chased by the humans or predators, or if they are being treated for whatever reasons by humans. So it's important to understand how animals and their respond. How animals respond to their environment and to different situations, and then to implement this know-how in practical situations. So regarding these physical risks, these are especially related to large animals because animals can cause serious injury to humans, for instance, if they are pushing or somehow behaving aggressively. For instance, because they think they would be defending for themselves, they can also harm themselves. I mean, the animals can harm themselves or the other animals on the group, and they can also harm farm infrastructure if animals are not handled properly. This can also apply to smaller animals, although the damage might be often smaller in terms of severity. But there are, for instance, examples like tail biting in pigs or feather pecking in chicken, which are in a way related to how animals are being kept. So by enabling better conditions and better management of the animals, also these damages can be avoided. So these physical injuries can include, for instance, bites, scratches, or kicks by the animals. They can be falls. There might be crush injuries. For instance, the sows might crush their beaklets, or they might crush caretakers. They can be, for instance, musculoskeletal strains. For instance, if you are not careful, there might be even allergic reactions to animals. People might also be exposed to animals' excretions, which might be a disease risk, but there might be also like a risk of slipperies, and if these are combined, for instance, handling animals improperly and farming or housing environment where there's a lot of slipperiness, then that can be a risk to humans. And then also there can be noise damages, especially some larger animals. They can cause quite high. They can cause quite high noise if they are feeling threatened. So these injuries can be severe, or they can be mild. So different types of physical risks might occur. Then regarding risk of disease, this is perhaps not so closely related to the topic of today, but there are zoonotic diseases, so different pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, they can be transmitted from animals to humans or vice versa. And if you are in contact with animals, then there might be a risk of having a disease. And also mishandling might result in, for instance, animals biting humans, and that might cause some wounds, and then there might be some bacteria which are then causing an illness or damage to humans. And then, of course, there are also animal diseases. So pathogens can be transmitted between animals through contacts between animals, excretions, and so on. And more regarding disease issues, improper handling of animals can cause stress to the animals, and this can lead to disease or damage, especially when we are talking about so-called production diseases, which are a consequence of the animal, the environment, and then the pathogen. So if we are handling animals improperly, they might be stressed, and that might be exposing them more to certain diseases. And this can also reduce the quality of product. And obviously these are both a risk or a negative aspect for the animals, but also they can cause quite substantial economic damages to the farmers. So regarding animal welfare, I would like to point out that animal welfare is very a diverse concept. Here I have taken a diagram from the welfare quality approach. They have in the welfare quality, animal welfare is defined through 4 principles and 12 different criteria that you can see in the screen. So there are things like good feeding, good health, appropriate behavior, and good housing. And actually, handling of animals is related to some of these. So, for instance, housing in combination with human activities can pose a risk to animal welfare. Then I already mentioned about stress and health issues. And then finally, there's one of the principles is actually, one of the criteria is actually good human-animal relationship. So it's actually part of animal welfare that what is the relationship between humans and animals, and especially caretakers of animals and humans. Caretakers of animals and the animals themselves. So some possible animal welfare issues are displayed on the screen. So reducing stress on livestock during handling will help to reduce the risk of sickness, as I already mentioned. And then there are many detrimental effects of handling stress on animal that can influence animal performance and health. That might be caused, for instance, because of fear or improper handling practices. And then making animals accustomed to people both will produce calmer and easier to handle animals. And that's actually a factor which is also making the working environment and the work nicer for those who are taking care of the animals. And then an animal's first experience with the new person or equipment should be made as positive as possible, because that will help the handling of the animal later on. And it may be difficult to persuade the animal to re-enter a facility or certain location after there has been a stressful event. So in that sense, what happens now will affect how you can handle and what kind of issues you face with the animal later on. So here's one example about reducing stress upon moving the animals. This is from quite old publication. There's a diagram. So animal movements are an example of stressful situation to animals, especially if they are related to also the transportation of animal, which is another stress factor. So it is recommended to move small animals at a time and then eliminate different visual distractions that make animals somehow distracted. And then there's so-called flight zone and point of balance principles. So basically, for instance, cattle, if you're moving them forward in a corridor or need to move them to another room or location, then it is good to move forward so that cattle will move forward when the handle passes the point of balance, which is like here. So you should always be in a location where animals can see the handler. So if they cannot see but they can hear something, they might be afraid, for instance. So noise and then visual observations are important for the animals. So you should provide a relaxed, like a calm, not noisy environment to the animals to make it easier to move the animals. Finally, I would like to mention something about the positive animal welfare. This is a topic that has been raised recently quite a lot. There's a study which mentioned that positive animal welfare goes beyond ensuring good physical health and the prevention and alleviation of suffering, and it encompasses animals experiencing positive mental states resulting from rewarding experiences, including having choices and opportunities to actively pursue goals and achieve desired outcomes. So what is actually important is that we would try to make the environment to the animal as positive as possible and handling of animals as positive to them as possible, because this will help make it easier and more convenient to handle the animals. So positive animal handling actually has several benefits, and this applies to positive animal welfare as well. It can reduce stress and anxiety for the animals, and that is lowering the risk of different physical damage, for instance. And then when animals are calm, they are more easier to cooperate with, and it makes working easier for the farm workers and farmers, and also less risky for them, and actually offers more pleasant working environment. Then when there's a more positive relationship between animal and human, it actually also makes it can improve both of their health. There's a concept called one welfare, which actually relates to integration of human, animal, and environmental welfare. And part of that is that there's a good relationship between animals and humans. And then finally, less stress and less disease is associated with better productivity and health and better performance of the animals and better quality of products. And that is then also related to potential for improved animal economic performance. So actually, good handling of animals can be very important from different perspectives. So I'd like to stop here and then give the floor to the next speaker. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jarkko. Thank you. Very interesting, and I agree all your slides and things. Thank you so much being on time. We will continue with examples from Finland and Germany about good practices in animal handling. There we have Ardita and from Finland and Sebastian from Germany. So I don't use time anymore. If Ardita, you can start and present yourself maybe more at the beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Satu. So I'm sharing my presentation. Yes. Hello, everyone. So I am Ardita Hoja-Yahya. I'm a veterinarian and working for Savonia University of Applied Sciences. We are in a SafeHabitus project together with Luke, and we are in charge of community of practice from Finland. And our main focus is dairy production. My previous speakers, both Jarkkos, they were talking quite a lot about research, and I will be focusing now in how to apply this research and how we use this through the education, how we do it through education. That's why I have been using this picture for starting, because here you can see me working with students in simulating giving birth for the cow, because we all know that during the calving we might have a lot of injuries both for people and for animals, and it's so important how we interact with each other in order to make it safe environment. And there are implicated many reasons why we might have injuries during calving, for example. We have to ensure safe and humane animal handling in order that we have safety and good animal welfare. So this is our focus in Finland. So what we do that by adhering the best practices, not only thinking of protecting only workers, which is very important, but also the animals, and this aligns with Finnish legislation that promotes animal well-being. And this was very well described by my previous colleague Jarkko. And then I used here another picture which is generated by AI, and this is to confirm what already Jarkko said, that with the development of technology there is a trend that the injuries are decreasing. And here I wanted to highlight that when we are delivering education for future farmers and existing farmers, veterinarians, technicians, and everybody who handles with animals, we focus at Animal Welfare Act that we have here in Finland that mandates that animals must be treated well, provided with sufficient water and appropriate food, and kept in premises suitable for their spaces. The welfare of animals have to be checked at least once a day, and we have to promptly react if there is any disease or any issue. Who takes care of this? There are municipal veterinarians, regional veterinarians, and when there are cases where we have to involve also police, custom officials, and municipal health protection officials. It was mentioned previously that we have different cases where we have injuries, but I have to highlight that the statistics show that in Finland on 2023, there we had about 23 fatal workplace accidents in Finland, and approximately half of those occurred in agriculture and forestry sector. Most probably, even though I don't have exact data, but I'm sure that Jarkko from Luke might have those data, but there is many of them implicated because of interactions with animals. And for this reason, or this is a good sign that we have to have measures and we have to have prevention that these fatal accidents become less. In our community of practice in the SafeHabitus project, we are discussing a lot about animal handling. And here you can see that my colleague Iris Kaimio, which is a veterinarian from Emovet, she has very good practice that she offers for veterinarians, for farmers and future farmers, that how we should understand and handle cows, because this is quite complex. So if we have a new employee on board, what should we do, or what has to be done here in Finland? We have to give him very clear orientation and instruction guidance. The worker has to understand very clearly the farm environment and his own workplace. So with what he's surrounded, this is the essential knowledge. And then we have to offer him the cow senses, growth and development, species typical behavior, basics need, and training techniques. So this is the basis where we start with, for example, a newcomer in our farm. It's so important that we know how to recognize the fear in cows, because Jarkko Niemi already said that usually animals, they get afraid, and when they get afraid, then there is possibilities that they might behave in that way that they could cause injury to humans or even to themselves or to the environment. I don't know what happened. Okay. So we talk a lot about these signs and the fear of the animals, and also we had trainings offered from Iris for our community of practice. What should be the approach technique to the animals? This is really important. And then how to build. It's so important that we have good relationship with the animal. We have to stay calm. We have to predict how the animal will behave in certain moments or certain situations. We have to plan our actions in advance, and then we have to understand the species typical behavior. And for this, it interacts a lot of knowledge related to anatomy and physiology of an animal. Then we have to consider the other issues in the environment, because it's not all about interaction between a human and animal, but also what is the animal's relation within the herd that it's living. What are the hormonal effects, such as during the calving? As I said, calving is quite specific. So what happens with the hormones and how the hormones make the animal to behave differently, as well as how well we know our own behavior and how we are alerted in certain situations. So this drawing is artistic drawing made during the sessions that we had with our veterinarian, who is specialized in handling and developing approaching techniques when it comes to cattle. I'm not going to go into details because previously it was said that we have to understand the animal behavior. What is the cattle panoramic view and how we have to use...
No sé nada, no sé nada.
Please, there's a microphone on. Could you please shut the microphone? Thank you.
And then we have to know to learn of how to avoid sudden movements and recognize signs of stress or aggression in the animals, because when there is a pain in the animal, there that there we could sometimes also see aggression, or sometimes if we are newcomers in the farm, like new worker or a new veterinarian, we don't know how the animal will act in these cases. We said it was said that the highest accidents in Finland in agriculture and forestry sector are happening because of machinery use and because of the environment. Then we think that it is very important that how do we design and maintain the farms. We have to ensure that there is non-slip flooring and adequate lighting, and this helps both humans and animals in the farm. We should avoid the sharp turns and blind corners. We know that in some old farms we might have those blind corners, and we have to have good maintenance infrastructure to repair if something happens with our equipment. As veterinarians, sometimes we need to have also the restraint equipment, and how we use those restraint and what kind of restraint equipment we use is very important, and it has to be handled in that way that it's safe for both animals and humans. As we said, as community of practice and University of Applied Sciences, for us is very important how do we communicate this handling process and how do we offer trainings. We offer packages for provide safe training for all workers, promote calm and deliberate handling, encourage open safety discussions, because sometimes we might have workers with a cultural background that it's not easy that they do open discussion, and for this we are even now preparing an application, project application, so that we could different cultures would be able to say when something is wrong in the farm in order that we avoid accidents. Hygiene and disease prevention is very important. Sometimes we forget that the accident can be also if we get a disease. Some of the diseases can be really difficult and easy transmitted from animals to humans and from humans to animals. For this, we have to always wash our hands, not only after handling with animals, but also before you enter the farm, and take care of the vaccination process. And we have to be able to monitor constantly or continuously the health of our animals. As I said, I focus very much in the teaching, so we should not assume. We should teach each other. We should be open of everything. So if there is a calf time and at the same time is medicine time, what do? We have to communicate also with the animal. We have to know how to approach. At the same time, we have to do that when we have also feeding time. So how we interact between animals and humans, it's a key in order to understand or in order to offer the proper medication. And for that, we are like giving time to humans, but also to animals to get to know how to interact with each other. So for example, when it's the heifer time, we understand that they have plenty of time before calving, so they learn by themselves when the environment is supportive for them. Not only teaching workers, we should also be able to teach our cows, and for this we talk about cow skills. We have seen, or at least Iris has done research for a long time, that yes, we can also teach cows how to behave and how to interact with humans when it's needed. And for the conclusion is that we have to follow best practices and legal guidelines, ensure safety of workers and safety of animals, as well as promote ethical and productive farming. So this is from Savonia University of Applied Sciences. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ardita. Thank you. Very interesting and nice drawings Iris have made. So we continue with Sebastian Dittmar, and Sebastian is is an officer for safety and health protection from social insurance for agriculture, forestry, and horticulture from Germany. The floor is yours, yes. Sebastian.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the interesting presentations. I like to share my screen.
Perfect.
Very good. So, thank you very much for giving us the chance to report on our activities in Germany in this webinar. We are a partner of SafeHabitus 2, and where are we? What is our organization? We are the Social Insurance for Agriculture, Forestry and Horticulture in Germany, shortly saying SVLFG. And first, give a short brief about SVLFG. In Germany, SVLFG is responsible for the implementation of agriculture accident insurance, the agriculture health insurance, the agriculture pension fund, and the agriculture care fund. So our guideline is safe and healthy from one hand. So the whole green sector is insured in our organization. So we have a pretty good overview about all health and safety activities. In detail, SVLFG is an autonomous Germany-wide institution incorporated under public law. The company's main office is in Kassel, and there are 8 more departments and related offices with about 5,000 employees in total. In our sector, we are in the prevention sector. We have 350 technical advisors active in 1.5 million companies of the green sector. And the picture to the right, we like to show you the ideal model of our service. The supervisor and the farmer work together in a partnership. This is what we're trying to realize, that we work together with the farmers and share our knowledge and our ideas. Current OSH developments in agriculture and their social impact are reflected in our work, so we try to give a good overview about the whole sector. This is briefly the introduction to our organization, and one central aspect of our work is the statistic. All accidents must be reported by law. And this is only to the strict procedure in Germany possible to have a good overview about the accident statistics in our sector. Means if you have an accident resulting in more than 3 days of sick leave to work, they have to be reported. So it means all farmers and workers have to report their accidents to us by law. And here on the first stage, we have all accidents, meaning agriculture, forestry, and gardening. And there we have 57,600 accidents reported in 2023 and 125 fatal accidents. If we zoom in to the agriculture sector, so forestry and gardening excluded, we have about half of the accidents occurred in the agriculture sector, meaning 32,000 reported accidents and 73 fatal accidents. If you zoom in one more, meaning we have the detailed information about accidents in animal husbandry. There we have quite around about a quarter of accidents, meaning we had in 2023 14,800 reported accidents in animal husbandry and 22 fatal accidents in the work with animals. If we talk about animals, then we have a more detailed statistic too, saying, okay, what kind of animals are involved? if you look at the reported accidents, then way up, the cow is the focus animal we have to look at from the prevention sector, and the cattle species at all, looking at the bull and the calf including, means we have around about 4,500 accidents. Around 30% are involved with the species of cows or cattle. So this is our focus species in prevention. Then we have more details and statistics saying, okay, what was the injury causing event? And the main event is to be kicked by the cow, and followed by all the arguments we heard in the presentations before: slipping, sliding, hitting, trapped, twist the angle, all this with the surface, with the work environment, all this. But to be kicked and to be close to the animal is the major risk we can see in our statistic. Well, this is our first aspect, the statistic. But we not only have the tool of statistic, we also have the tool of accident reports. It means that in around 10% of all accidents, one of our technicians go out to the farm and draw down an accident report. Statistic and accidents reports are the foundation of our decision making and to adjustment of our strategy in prevention. Here we can see one shot of the accident example our experts were drawing in the farm. Number one, here a cow that had been fixed to be artificially inseminated by a technician. In the number one, it was fixed by a kind of head gate, and everything was like we defined on the rules. But second, when the technician saw that the cow that was running around freely was about to attack him, he tried to escape through the feed fence. He got caught up in a bit of a fight with the cow and ended up pushed up against the stalling elements. And lucky for him, the barn was equipped with number 3. After the cow briefly let go of him, the injured man seized his opportunity and saved himself with the help of an escape device, number 3. This is very short, very short part of the accident report from our technician. So this is the second tool we have in our toolbox to adjust our prevention measurements. And some results ended up in an amendment of our regulation, because having a regulation is very important. The behavior of our insured person is laid down in the health and safety regulations. These are our rules, our Bible in health and safety behavior. And it's very important for us to amend these regulations continuously to be up to date and bring to paper all the knowledge we collect during the statistics and the reports. And in the last time we had made some primarily aimed changes, and they are a result of accidents. The first one is we changed the regulations regarding animal treatment in general. The second one is we changed or amended our regulations during service bulls and in cattle farming. And the third major one is treating calves in the presence of their mother. These 3 aspects we added to our regulations. In detail, you can see it here. Maybe the new text for regulation is this: the farmer must immediately remove any animals that behave aggressively and thus a potential danger from the herd. This is the case, for example, if a person had been attacked by an animal. So in our regulation, we added this new requirement. The second one is stable facilities are adapted to the species, breed, and type of husbandry so that there are no related hazards to persons. Here you can see an example of this, what we find in older buildings or changing the type of feed of livestock farming. Here we had an barn who isn't suitable for the stable. This was made for fattening bulls to stop them jumping the bars over the boxes, and now they changed or the farmer changed the procedure to use the farm, and now they use it for younger cattle, and using this equipment is potential dangerous for persons in the box, maybe during treatment having these barn installings in it is not appropriate for these type of activities. So these are some amendments regarding the behavior of animals. The second one is that all farms have to have a separation and fixation opportunity to separate and fix the animals. And another one is if cattle are artificially inseminated or treated, no free-range animals shall be present in the area. Cattle must be securely fixed during insemination or treatment. A possibility of escape must be provided to enable persons to leave the danger zone quickly and safely. So what we learned from these dangerous accidents, we wrote it down to our requirements for all farmers that which are insured in our organization. So this is, but to be honest, this is just a first step to write it down, to have all these requirements fulfilled in the farms. It takes a while, and it takes a lot of argumentation in seminars and education to fulfill all the requirements in the farms, but we need to do step by step, and one of the first steps is to write it down. Well, the next one is that we talk about fixation devices and are highly developed, and there's not just one solution. We have an open mind to improve the technology in fixation of animals, and here you can see an very or more or less complex way to fix the animals in the barn, maybe to reduce noise, as we heard in the previous presentation, or to prevent that the cows push their head through openings they are not meant to prevent additionally problems with the fixation elements. But as we said, it's not that easy. As you can imagine, there are many technical possibilities. And here you can see more examples. Solutions for separating animals have a wide range and are always possible. We are open-minded for different technologies and give the farmers the opportunity to choose the right technology for their individual needs. Here we found, for example, a mobile technical device for separating animals on the front loader of the tractor. Maybe in a bull rearing operation. Here you can see the front loader. They have the green device close to it. You can flip the device to go through the through the stalling, and then you can push the animals for separation, or push just one cow for maybe treatment or fixation, all this. And we are very open for technologies. We are not close to just one technique. And it's always good to be important to look beyond the horizon. For example, a good solution in Great Britain we have in mind, and we are servicing to our insured person, is the roundhouse. To our position, the roundhouse is a very good solution to safely use technique for handling cows. Another aspect is that our organization operates a founding system for farmers. Here they receive a financially subsidy if you purchase products that promote health and safety on the farm. Meaning, if you buy a new catch and fixing treatment device like this on the left side here, we gave you 30% of the cost and up to 1,000 euros. If you send us the receipt, then we try to push this technology on the farms and say, okay, we give you some money if you invest in health and safety. Another example is maybe the mobile calf catcher, as we said, for I missed the term, for cows that live out on the pasture, and we like to treat the calves. Then we give 30% and maximum 600 euro for this mobile cage. It's the intention is to have a safe space for the calf and the farmer to give the first treatment to cows who live out on the pasture, and protect the farmer from maybe contact with the mother of the cow. The mother of the calf, sorry. And another example is the neck cage frame, where we give as well 30% and up to 250 euros if you invest in one of these fixation instruments. Well, as we heard before, very important is training in safe cattle handling. We promote these training courses. We financially give from our organization money to it. So for the farmers, in most of the case, the training is free of course. And as you all know, it's a very ongoing job. As we heard on the first presentation, we have 9,000 years in working with animals and still have to learn. So it's an ongoing process, but our organization is very interested in training and give all the knowledge back to the farmers to increase health and safety. And one feedback from the farmer is that training in person, working on an example barn, for example, is very effective, and many participants have confirmed this by themselves and said it's a very good instrument to adjust our work with cows and to change our perspective with the new information and knowledge you present us on these types of training. Well, last but not least, we have a close look to the trend. And here you can see the reportable accidents in black and the fatal accidents in red. And the number of accidents appears to have fallen since the measures were introduced in 2015. But to be honest, this is there are many factors who involved in the digression of reportable accidents. The structural change is maybe one big reason, but as we heard before, the automatization in the barn is one aspect too. As we heard maybe from automatic milking, or automatic feeding. These are instruments we support, and we work in standardization to enable the automatization in the barn, in the sector of husbandry of animals. But what we see is this trend is not the case in the fatal accidents. In the fatal accidents, it's more or less on the same level. And to reduce fatal accidents, we have to do more activities and more strengths to prevent fatal accidents in future. Yeah. These were in very short, compact way, our informations regarding safe cattle handling in Germany. I'd like to thank you, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. It's very important to have this data that you just presented. Otherwise, we can't enhance things if we don't have data, and that's the researcher's job. So we should have some response and comments to our speakers about the good practices. Do we have? Yes, we have Eda online. So please, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. We heard very interesting presentations from Jarkko and Ardita and Sebastian. Two good examples from Finland and from Germany, the last one. And what is important, I heard and analyzed that, of course, when we talk about the safety of farmers and farm workers, here is a central part of animal health and safety of animals, and it's very important. But if we take together then farmers, farm workers and animals, when farm worker is healthy, then animal also healthy. And it's very important that both sides are healthy and safe. And of course, we concentrate on different risk factors, what hazards are toward animal workers. That the central point is aggression of animal bulls and also the technical part, what is prevent us from attacks of animals. And important place there veterinarians, because they need to treat the animals and they need to treat them safely that they don't get damaged. And so it's very important part of these technical solutions of the farms and in-house design. And of course, if we take the classical classification that different risk factors, then first presentations from Jarkko that physical farms, it's the main noise-induced hearing loss, but also physical damages also on under the physical risk factors, but also why not internal comfort, microclimate comfort of this animal houses, ventilation and all things, including microclimate factors. And important point also about this, what the damage from side of animals, that our musculoskeletal disorders and prevention of traumas and different injuries as bone breaks or all serious things. It's very important that safety from side of ergonomics, how we treat our animals in ergonomical ways, that we don't damage our low back, that we don't get pain in hands and don't get kicked from animals. It's very important point from this ergo design perspective in in-house constructions. And the last presentation stressed very well that automatization of different treatment equipment and all the work in-house. It's very important that we get less damage from animals. And if we look on biological risks from the first presentation, that it is very important that our animals are prevented from different zoonoses, and that the workers are prevented from zooanthropognosis. And now maybe the danger of different animal diseases or epidemics is very important. Very important to prevent farms from it, prevent from visitors who may bring some infection into the farm is also very important. And how we organize our training when epidemic period, you can't go in the farms. It's prevented, it's protected. And it's also the place where we need to, or focus point, where we need to think about when we organize our trainings, how it's possible to go with trainings into practical exercises in the farms when different epidemics are going on. So farm security also is very important from side of biological risks. And maybe about the psychological part of animals and the farmers, because it's stress among farmers also rises from side of this financial support from government, from these epidemics. We lose our cattle or sheep or cows. And it's very important that farmer have no stress, but we can't prevent it in everywhere and always, because the farming is a process. It's going as up and down, but we need finances. We need national support. And it was very nice example from Sebastian that in Germany you give little part of support to farmers, that they can buy some equipment to more safe different constructions which help to prevent farmers and prevent also animals. And maybe this animal stress is also a very important part when we need to know in which period for cows, for example, when baby cows and then mother is protecting his babies, and of course she is very aggressive when somebody foreign is coming inside, and it's very important this safe handling of animals in our farms. And it is not only animals and farmers and farm workers, but also we need to prevent family members, children. And so it's so complex. There's always a safety problem and safety topic. So very nice examples from side of Ardita, how you trained your groups inside the farms. So very needful topic in each country of EU to go on with this safety topics and more to produce some safety guidelines inside of farms, how to prevent farmers, how to move animals, etc. So important topic. Thank you very much for all these presentations.
Thank you so much for your comments, Eda. I really agree.
Thank you, Rosie.
All your comments. Now we have short time for questions before we let David to close this seminar. And we had one question, but I saw it from the chat, and it was about color. Is there such thing as a red flag for a cow. So I don't remember that much about color vision of cattle, but it's a bit different than ours. But maybe I refer to Temple Grandin that it's maybe that scarce cattle is in a bullfighting habits. That's what not very nice for animal welfare, but anyway, it's the fast-moving object straight on the eyes of a cattle. But do you know our specialist about the color vision of cattle and what colors
Hallo.
Matter?
Ich war mir gerade nicht sicher, wo die Research
Now there is
questions zu
someone
dem
is
Reading
has a
steht,
microphone on. Please, can you?
weil jetzt, also, weil es geht ja um deinen Hinweis, ne, mit diesen 4 Monaten.
Sebastian, do you want to answer or Ardita or Eda? Do you have in mind about the color cues we could use?
Yeah, this is a question. I'm not so sure about this question, so maybe I can.
Okay, maybe Eda.
Yes, if we talk about colors, we use colors also in the risk assessment. That when the risk is high, we put red, black, or red color. And in operation and operation rooms were in the hospitals. But among the cows, of course, I'm not a farmer, but I say that color is very important point because color is visually showing you that something is wrong, and you react very fastly on this red type of colors. And when green, it's all okay. Yeah, thank you.
Other questions? Don't have eyes.
Hello, Satu.
Okay, Jarkko.
We have now working the question part and section. There's a few questions also there. Q&A.
Okay. I don't see any. So please, Jarkko, if you see in my screen, I don't see any questions.
So there's a question from Philip Smith, and his comment here is: we are seeing an increase in the rearing of wilder beasts and water buffalo. Although seen as similar to cattle, they have very different strength and behavior traits. Any advice or research available on best practice handling for these animal types? I know probably that the Ristoraltian in Nebraska University have done some work with the buffalo in Indian reservations, but I don't know if they have any publications yet, but anybody else?
Well, I know that the Italian researchers have worked with, because buffalo milk is highly appreciated in Italy and big production, so they have also published something about water buffalo welfare and about handling maybe tooth. If you look at Italian researchers' publications, you might have some tips.
Okay, and then and probably if somebody have a reference, you could put to the chat box or something. And then Joanna Makowska from Poland. How a positive animal welfare can be assessed and reached can we use for that BLF tools? Do you want to, is Joanna here?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, so thank you for that just for reading this question. So probably there is a question to Jarkko Niemi, because I just wanted to, I wonder, because we assess animal welfare in different ways, not directly, but I think a positive animal welfare is much more difficult to assess. and it's also important to reach this state of an animal, because it's at a higher level. And I wonder if a kind of precision livestock farming tools can be used, artificial intelligence or something like this. So probably it's a question to Jarkko Niemi, I think, or maybe not. And that's why, maybe answer just one moment. And that's why in this question about the buffaloes, probably there are some publications and information from India, because they have a lot of buffaloes, and maybe they have some research on the buffalo behavior. So that's only. Okay, thank you. So please, Jarkko. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's actually quite a difficult question. Some of the elements like health and that kind of things, they can be observed perhaps more easily than what is usually considered in the context of positive welfare. So like these positive emotional things, positive mental states. I guess, it very much relates to how animals are behaving. So perhaps like by looking at how animals behave and monitoring these behavioral indicators, maybe that could be one way to assess positive animal welfare to some extent, at least. I know that there are some like precision livestock farming tools which are based on, for instance, monitoring activity, and for instance some video technology based basically AI tools which are using basically AI, which might be also useful in this sense, at least in some cases. So perhaps they could be used to collect information, but I guess it's a lot about actually observing how animals are behaving. So, and then how to insert that, how to make sure that there would be positive animal welfare. Then, well, of course, you need to have an environment where the animals can behave. Where they can express their natural behaviors. So that needs to be in place. But then, in addition to that, you can also influence their welfare through how they are being treated, by using preferred treatment practices, management practices, and also perhaps by avoiding excessive handling of animals, because that might be also a stress in itself. Just to mention some examples.
Thank you very much. I just wondering about the kind of face recognition, because sometimes it's some people say that it could be used, but just maybe not is the case for that one, because we have no time, no too much time to discuss more. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much. So we have very short comments from Ardita and Jarkko, and maybe Ardita, you can start, and then we let David to close.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I really have to leave to another meeting, so time is running. So I'm sorry. I want to thank you all, and let's hope we will have another session in the near future.
Thank you so much, Ardita.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And who has to leave has to leave. There's no problem. We are a little bit late in time. So Jarkko, very short comment.
Yeah, just shortly, I think that nudging is a kind of one method of central cow handling, and I think there's some references and publications for that. Okay, let's move forward.
Thank you so much. So if we have David here online to close this very, very interesting webinar. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and I completely agree, Satu. It was an extremely interesting webinar, and I would like to firstly thank all of the speakers. for contributing today. It was really, really interesting, and I'm going to touch on a few points in a second. But firstly, thank you very much to the speakers for taking the time to present to us today and to take the time to prepare what were really interesting presentations. So that's the first thing. Also, thank you to Luke and our colleagues within SafeHabitus who have organized today's seminar. And thank you to Adel, who have provided all the technical support in the background in terms of setting up the meeting today. Just to reflect very briefly, what we saw today, and I saw elements of this in terms of what we see in Ireland. The presentations touched on a lot of similar points. But we see that livestock are a key cause of injury and fatality on farms right across Europe. So this is a critical issue. It's a need that many farmers have and many countries have in terms of trying to reduce the numbers of injuries and deaths associated with livestock on farms. And we saw some really excellent use of data from Germany and how the collection of statistics is really important in terms of directing us towards what the issues are. So what we saw there standing out from Sebastian's data were cows and the need to focus in on how do we improve animal handling around cows. But we also heard about the need for the implementation of many initiatives in parallel and in a systematic way. So it is not enough on its own to just highlight awareness or just provide training. We need a system that can approach this issue. And again, we saw different approaches to that, but the example from Germany was really excellent. We see that there is regulation, there's awareness raising, there's technical advice, there's education and training, and there is the incentives, okay, and supports to encourage farmers to invest in new facilities, safer equipment, and so on. And for me, the other important point coming from that is really that opportunity for farmers to gather together and to learn in person. So that in-person training piece has been really important. And we saw it as well in Ardita's presentation. There was a lot of students standing around that seemed to be having a lot of fun with the calving simulator. I would hope that in a real life situation, there weren't so many people crowding around an animal that was calving, but I'm sure there isn't. The final point the final 2 points that I would make here. Firstly, the purpose of these webinars is to highlight ongoing activities in different areas or different priority areas for health and safety that have been identified by the partners within the SafeHabitus project. And obviously today's webinar has touched on animal handling, but one of the really beneficial pieces of these webinars is the sharing of good practices. So one of the good practices that we saw in all of the presentations was the use of new forms of communication. So we don't produce boring reports anymore. We're producing infographics that clearly communicate and engage. I particularly liked Sebastian's cartoon where the dog is telling the farmers that it's about time that you went back to university and learned a few things. So there's these much more engaging ways of communicating key messages that are really, really important. And then the idea of learning from each other. Again, Sebastian highlighted the case of the round barn or the round house from the UK. And this is what SafeHabitus is trying to do. It's trying to support that learning from each other right across Europe. And with that in mind, I would like to encourage you all to continue to engage with us. And if you know of good practices in this area, please do get in contact. We are very interested in learning about and sharing good practices right across Europe. And that really takes me to the very end. But I will touch on one last thing. Alan Plum asked the question about cattle perception of color, and it's quite interesting. The colors they generally perceive most are blue and yellow. So yes, yellow is something that they will notice. My understanding is that red to cattle comes across like a gray color. So blue and yellow are definitely things that they will respond to, or are more likely to respond to. So this raises a question about high-vis vests, which tend to be either yellow or orange. So just, I'm not sure if that information is useful to you, Alan, but I thought I would share it with you. So finally, I would like to wrap up. I would thank you all again for attending here today and for your participation. We really appreciate it. We will be announcing our next webinar relatively shortly, which will take place towards the end of July, and we will keep you all informed about that. So thank you again, and thank you very much to Satu for her wonderful chairing.
Thank you so much, David. These words
Okay.
were very, very important. So I'm happy to close the seminar now. Thank you for all speakers and for our audience. So have a nice afternoon or the continue of the day and the coming summer. Hello. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.